Okay, peeps, welcome back. So today, LTCN, BCHG, and HZEN, these are the Grayscale trusts that we're going to talk about. Is it time to buy? Let's get it. So the first thing that we're going to look at is the LTCN chart. As you guys can see, we still have this tweezer top here. That's not a good sign. We closed with a tweezer top, but we are still above the previous resistance zone with a close. So that is actually a good sign, to be honest. It's both kind of a bad sign and a good sign. We'll just have to wait and see how things play out. The RSI is still overbought, but no bearish divergence yet. So nothing really saying that we're really going to sell off. If we go down to the smaller time frames here, we'll take a look at some of the smaller time frames. So the 4-hour chart, you can see that we're kind of bobbing around here in the zone. This is actually a good sign because in my opinion, of course, not financial advice, but if we were going to sell off, we would have sold straight back down through the support zone. But we have not done that. We've basically kind of been bobbing around on this support level, testing it, but not really breaking below it, as you guys can see here as well. This would be the ideal scenario. We kind of just want to see it bounce around, up and down, sideways mostly, but not really going down per se. So I would say the most ideal situation here is that we kind of just maybe chop sideways for a few weeks, give the RSI a chance to cool off, and the EMAs a chance to move up higher to form some extra support up here at the zone. And I would say that probably the best buy zone that you're going to get right now is somewhere between this 1320 to 1486. Now, in terms of our portfolio, we still do hold LTCN. We have not bought back into HZEN or BCHG yet. We're still patiently waiting for another dip opportunity, which looks like it might be coming soon. So HZEN has actually pulled back. So you guys can see here that we broke out of this bullish flag, sort of. I'm going to move this out of the way a little bit. So we had this kind of bullish flag pennant pattern thing here that we broke out of. We did hit the target back over here per se, and even kind of, I guess you would say, like kind of right here on this candle a little bit, but not quite. And then we pretty much just got shot back down. So it's an interesting kind of formation. I'd say it's neutral. It's not bullish nor bearish because, again, we got sold back down into the resistance zone, but there was no close below it. But we are still above the EMAs. If this thing was truly bearish, it would have had a red candle close below both the resistance and the EMAs, and we have not seen that yet. However, most likely on Monday, we're going to go ahead and pick some of this up, at least a portion of it anyways, and maybe wait to see if it pulls back a little bit more afterwards. So right now, I would say HZEN right now, honestly, is a pretty good buying opportunity. If we take a look at the grand scale of things, HZEN's peak, and it obviously did not have a lot of time to run because it looks like they came out with the trust right at the end of the bull market, so we didn't really get to see what this thing was truly capable of. But from the current price to the peak, you're talking roughly, I'd say roughly about a 20x. If ZEN goes to new all-time highs like it did the last two cycles, then the price could be closer to like $40 to $50 a share. In that case, you're looking at roughly a 25 to 30x. So BCHG, this is the one that everybody loves besides LTCN. This is a really unusual candle formation. I've not seen one of these before where you get this really crazy shooting star type candle, which is generally bearish, and then we end up closing higher than this on a red candle. That's really odd, but for whatever reason, this support has held at least in the immediate short term. The RSI is still, of course, massively overbought. So as of right now, the current support zone is somewhere between 380 to 417 if you're looking to pick up shares. Us personally, we're still waiting to see if it's potentially going to get that down. I would say somewhere between like maybe 270 at this point, maybe down to like 350 a share. We might take a look at buying some more at that point. We'll just have to see if it actually gets down there. But just so you all know, from the current price to the previous peak, we're taking a look at roughly about, looks like maybe a 12 to a 15x, somewhere in there. Now, keep in mind, These Grayscale trusts do multiples of the underlying, so it's possible it could go even higher. You could be looking at maybe a 15 to a 20x. If we get a pullback here to 250 to 270, I mean 250 into $60 is, I don't know exactly what that would be. I think it's like a 24, 25x. So it may be beneficial to wait a little while longer for a pullback, but of course understand that if you wait, you may not get the pullback. But there is always opportunity in the market, so that's something to keep in mind. So just closing up real quick, I did want to show you guys that the markets have pulled back quite a bit, so you guys can see that we have a lot of red here. A lot of these cryptocurrencies have pulled back. Scale was at like 10 cents. Now it's at 8 cents. Jasmine was at, I think, 0.007 or 0.008. Now it's at 0.005. Litecoin was at $75 to $80, and now it's at 65. And yeah, we're basically pretty much just getting red across the board. Solana, which I know is a one that a lot of people have talked about, went from like went from, I think it was $20 to 120. Now it's at 95. And if we take a look at CoinGecko.com, which is the main website we use to track these cryptocurrencies, you guys can see that there is a lot of blood in the streets right now. You see this massive red on this first page. Just lots and lots and lots of red, which indicates it's a great potential buying opportunity. And if we go to the next page, for us personally, we usually look to roughly about the top 300 for cryptos to buy. On occasion, we'll pick something that's super, super small cap, like top 500, top 1,000, something like that. But we generally stick to mostly the top 300. So you guys can see a lot of these have really sold off. Engine Coin came down quite a bit. That's one that we have, which is minus 17%. And one more thing to look at before we go, just to kind of give you guys a little bit of a correlated update here. So the stocks above the 50-day moving average on both the S&P and the NASDAQ are in the overbought zone, or the sell zone, as we like to call it. The NASDAQ one has already had a massive rejection. As you can see, it just absolutely plummeted from this candle here. It just really sold off hard. So with stocks selling off like this from this point, I'm thinking that crypto is probably going to follow suit in the coming weeks until we eventually get down to wherever the reversal point is going to be. We really don't know. I mean, it could be down to 25. It could be down to 10. Could be down to 44. We just don't know at this point. So we'll just have to wait and see. But the markets in general are looking pretty overbought. So wouldn't surprise me if we had maybe a month or two of downside before we go back up. But we'll just have to wait and see. So anyways, hope you all enjoyed this content. Please like, comment, and subscribe. And we'll see y'all later. Peace.